and welcome Mindsetters to this session of Learn Extra, looking at grade 11 science. I hope you guys are ready. You got your pens and pads out. I am Ty, and I'm here with Tracy, who's going to be taking the lesson today. So, what's happening
Hello,
today?
Ty.
How are
It's a
you?
long time no see, hey? Anyway,
Such a long time.
it has been, 10 seconds? Anyway, so, guys, today we're looking at sound. Last week we did sound. You were here when I did it with the grade 10s. We did the same sort of thing with them with the grade 11s last week. So it's actually very cool. We played some instruments, we had some fun. It was with Kadlejo. But today what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to look at calculations. It's applications of sound, which means we've got to look at some calculations, some sort of long questions, but mainly we're looking at calculations.
All right, awesome. Okay, so while Tracy makes her way across the board, I'm going to tell you, Mindsetters, make sure that you get on the page and get chatting to me. Let me know what you're thinking. If you're lost anywhere, if you need help, or if you just have some really cool diagrams or anything really cool you'd like to share, feel free to let us know. Just simply post us on the page. You know the page, www.facebook.com/learnextra. So, guys, this is where I now hand over to Tracy, who's going to continue the show. Take it away, Tracy.
Excellent. Thank you, Ty.
No problem.
Well, grade 11s, I've taken a leaf out of Phil's book, actually, for you guys. He always has the challenge question. So, I have a question for you guys in terms of application of sound. It is going to get posted on the Facebook page a little bit later. We are making a plan. But here's the question. Okay, so I'm going to read it to you. X and Y are different wave motions in air. X travels much faster than Y, but has a much shorter wavelength. What types of wave motion could X and Y be? Now, the way it's set out is A says to me that X is microwaves and Y is red light. X is radio waves and Y is infrared. Or X is red light and Y is sound. Or X is sound and Y is ultraviolet. Okay, so this is your challenge. Okay, so through this show, have a look at it. We'll discuss it right at the end. I'm sure some of you have got some ideas as to what the answer could possibly be. There's a little bit of a trick in this one, so think about it. Let's see how it goes. Okay? Which means, and I have chosen multiple choice for a few of these questions, grade 11s, because I think part of the problem, if I'm thinking about my own learners and what I've seen over the years, is you really struggle with multiple choice, because it's obviously one of those things that we don't do a lot of, and you sort of think it's like what we call a monkey puzzle, okay, or you play multiple guess, and you go, that sounds like a good one, which, if you in a hurry, is not a bad idea, but please, 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 easiest 2 marks on your paper possible. So, first one, what is the approximate range of audible frequencies for a healthy human? Okay, we're making sure that you realize it's for a normal human, okay, not for your teachers who have supersonic hearing, we know this, okay, or for example, your great-grandparents, who we also know by the time they get to 100 really struggle to hear, their audible range has changed, okay, that's an age thing, okay, or your parents who you think cannot hear anything, okay, or sometimes you just think completely have supersonic hearing as well because they're forever telling you to turn the stereo down. Or no, you don't use stereos anymore at their age. Hey, do they even know what a stereo is? They turn the music down. Better word. I feel old.
It's usually headphones.
Yeah. We've grown out of that sharing music with everyone phase, hey?
Yeah, it's
Teenagers
kind of
don't
like
do that
music is
anymore.
my kind of situation, so I'm going to put my earphones in and disappear out of this conversation.
That's true. I forget. You know, I said to myself, I'll never be one of those people. I'm not even a parent yet. Who goes, back in my day, you know, when I went to school through the snow, which it might have been the case today. Anyway, moving on. So you've had a chance to look at the questions while I've been playing silly person. And we go, okay, let's look at the ranges. They all got 2s in front of them, so not going to help. So let's start with the bottom ends. And we go, okay. Bottom end, hopefully you all know, we can hear only to about 20 hertz. So we look at this and we go, well, that's 0.2, that's 2, there we go. Well, that means 20 hertz is an option, and nothing else has got 20 hertz, so we're hoping the other side of this is right. And it is actually, because it's 20 to 20,000 hertz. That's the frequencies we can hear. Frequencies of 20,000 hertz are those soprano sounds, those really, really high-pitched sounds. 20 hertz, those low bass notes, okay? And my voice at the moment is somewhere in the 10,000 hertz range, I think. Anyway, now this question I particularly like. Okay, it's one of my pet peeves about, well, no, actually, I love sci-fi movies, but if they actually took this into consideration, they'd be very boring. Astronauts are in a spaceship orbiting the moon. They see an explosion on the surface of the moon, and who knows, maybe the Transformers have come, you know, the
Yes,
Decepticons
Optimus
have.
Prime has decided to.
There we go. The
shot
Decepticons
to
have
rock up.
arrived. Yes, there we go. So, why can they not hear the explosion? Well, one, they're not in a movie, okay? Options. Number 1, explosions do not occur in space. Well, certainly not option A, because if explosions couldn't occur in space, we'd have no sun. We'd have no stars. So, explosions most definitely can occur in space. Take that off. Also, we know, humans know from experience, absolutely, that explosions can happen in space, okay, because we lose astronauts, we lose spaceships, it happens, okay, unfortunately. B, sound cannot travel through a vacuum. We like that option because sound is a mechanical wave, needs a medium. So that's an option. Let's just check everything else just in case. Number 1, well, C says sound is reflected away from the spaceship. Well, that doesn't make any sense because what's it reflected off? Okay, so it can't be that one. And D, sound travels too quickly in space to affect the eardrum. Well, that's a load of nonsense. So let's put that out. Oh, look at that. It was our first option. It's D. Sound cannot travel through a vacuum. Okay, so remember with sci-fi movies where you can hear the lasers and the explosions. Well, actually you can't, but the movies would be rather quiet and boring if they didn't put those noises in. Okay.
And it wouldn't be much fun if you just had the actors going bang, 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 bang.
Well, you wouldn't even hear the bang bang.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
it just loses its oomph. Okay, and right now my kids are busy rolling on the floor. Because, you know, this is what happens in my classroom. But don't tell anyone. And I'm hoping my boss isn't watching. Shh. Anyway, number 1, next one. A sound wave is different, not the same, from a light wave, in that a sound wave is, number 1, produced by a vibrating object and a light wave is not. That is not true. Okay? Light is produced in the sun, most obvious place to get right back to the basics. Inside the sun, we have an explosion happening. That explosion causes charged particles to vibrate. That vibration of the charged particles is what gives us light. So sound and light comes from vibrating objects. Sound is not capable of traveling through a vacuum. Yep, that's true. Next one, is not capable of diffracting, and a light wave is. That's not true. All waves are capable of diffracting. Okay, earlier this year, well, no, you haven't done it yet. Sorry, the grade 10s have done it. You'll do it next year. Light is actually considered both a wave and a particle. One of the things that tells us that it's a wave is the fact that it can diffract. Sound is a wave, definitely, so sound can diffract. Nope, not C. D, it's capable of existing with a variety of frequencies, and light wave has a single frequency. Absolute nonsense. Okay? Light wave, visible light, you know, comes in at least 7 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, the colors of the rainbow. Each of those colors are characterized by a different frequency, so it's not D. So the answer there is B. Okay? Now, grade 11s, I'm hoping you're getting the hint that I'm not just stopping at the first option I think is right. I'm going through all of them to make sure I fully understand the question. Let's do the next one. At the same temperature. Hopefully you realize that it needs to be at the same temperature because there's several things that affect the speed of sound. Temperature and the medium, the density of the medium and what phase it's in. Sound waves have the fastest speed in. And now we've got the options of rock, milk, oxygen, or sand. So we go, all right, first of all, sound travels slowest in a gas. So can't be oxygen. The next slowest is a liquid. Milk is a liquid. Frozen milk, that's not what we're looking at. So we now need to make a decision. Here we're getting to now we've got a 50-50 chance, okay, of getting this right. Either it's going to go in a rock or it's going to go fastest in sand. Now we've got to think to ourselves, okay, they're both solid, so it's going to be quite fast in the solid because we realize that it's fastest in a solid. But Within that solid, the density is what now counts. Think about the fact that with sand, we have a whole bunch of little sand particles all over the place. So as sound travels through sand, it's going to travel through each of the sound particles, but then it's got to jump over a little gas particle when there's space, okay? So there's that gas particle in the middle. A rock is a solid object, okay? It's just filled with the same type of particles the whole way, no jumping over little objects, which means rocks have a greater density. Okay? So if rocks have a greater density, that means sound will travel fastest in a rock. So here it wasn't quite as easy as the last three we've done, because now we had an option. So now we had to think through what we know about sound traveling through objects. Okay, now, this was not the case today because we're not having thunderstorms, okay? Here, I'm hoping some of you have at some stage watched lightning because you're interested and counted how long it takes for you to hear the thunder, okay? And you realize that when you hear thunder and lightning, when you can't hear lightning, when you see lightning and you hear the thunder almost at the same time, besides getting a huge fright, okay, you realize the storm's really, really close. Remember, light travels faster than sound. Light travels at 3 times 10 to the 8, which is what's in the question. A lightning storm creates both lightning and thunder. You can see the lightning almost immediately because light travels at 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second, which is 300 kilometers per second. That's fast, okay? After seeing the lightning, you count 5 seconds, and then you hear the thunder. Calculate the distance to the location of the storm, really to where the lightning was. Okay, it's a good way it's also a good way to decide whether a storm's getting closer or further away from you, especially if you're worried about lightning. Okay, so we go, okay, I am missing a piece of information here, grade 11s, and I hope you guys are all screaming at the TV, go, there's a problem, Tracy, and if I had to pick on one of you, I'm hoping you're screaming, me, and you're saying to me, I don't know the speed of sound. Of course you don't, because I didn't give it to you. Why is it important that I give it to you? Because the speed of sound is not constant, okay? It changes depending on temperature and density. I'm going to say to you, for this problem, let's make the speed of sound 340 meters per second. 340 meters per second. I'm hoping some of you are in your heads going, no, actually, I heard once that for every 3 seconds, the storm's a kilometer away. Okay? So if it's 5 seconds, that's 1,66. So it's about 1,66 kilometers away. Let's see how right you are, because that's the theory, is that for every 3 seconds, it's a kilometer away. Okay, so we know velocity, time, 5 seconds. Okay. So, velocity is distance divided by time. Don't forget that equation, grade 11s. Okay, not on the information sheet. You've been doing this equation since grade 10. And hopefully some of you even did it in grade 9 or 8. So you've been doing this equation for a long, long time. Be careful. So, be careful as well that you don't use d over t, not accepted. We have v, which is 340. We want delta x, and time is 5. So delta x is 5 times 340. Some of you are, this is where we could play fastest fingers first, you know, almost like a game show. We could turn this into a game show. And look at this. 1,700 meters. Remember, before we started this, I said it would be about 1,660 meters. That's pretty darn close, actually. Okay? And that's because of the value I used for the speed of sound. So it's actually a good way for you to predict with a storm. Next time you're in one, run away from the lightning. Grade 11s, it's bad for you. Okay? Is for every 3 seconds, it takes for you, difference between seeing the lightning and hearing thunder, the storm is 1 kilometer away. So it's also a nice way to tell if it's getting closer to you or further apart. Okay. I'm hoping that made sense, and I'm just thinking about time because I have lots of questions. I could do this all day. Find lots of fun ones.
We have
So,
a couple of questions. Maybe
yes.
linking to the break, we could cover this question just a little because the thing is, I'm seeing a couple of people who've posted this. And I think like they just want more clarity in
Cool.
terms of why doesn't sound travel through a vacuum?
Brilliant. Can I answer that now? Let's
Yes.
quickly. Brilliant question. Remember, sound is a mechanical wave. When we talk about sound, the reason why you can hear me at the moment is I talk, my vocal cords vibrate. Okay, that vibration goes into the microphone, that does a whole bunch of electronic things, and then it comes eventually gets to your TV. At your TV, it goes through the TV system, gets to the speakers. The speakers of the TV, even though you can't see it, actually vibrate. That vibration causes the air molecules to vibrate, and as the air molecules move backwards and forwards as they're vibrating, they pass on their energy from one to the next. And then eventually gets to your ears, your eardrums vibrate, etc. In space, there are no air particles. Okay? There is stuff in space, but pretty much it's a vacuum, so there's no air particles. So when I talk, my vocal cords are vibrating, but if I'm in space and there's no air around me, besides the fact I'd be dead, okay, but I'm talking, there's nothing for this energy to get transferred to. So when, like the question with the explosion, when the explosion happens, there's that sound energy, but there's nothing for it to be transferred to, which then would allow it to move on to something else. So sound has to have a medium. Light doesn't, because of the way it's created in the first place.
Okay.
I hope that helped them.
I think that helped them quite a bit.
Cool.
So I think on that note, we can go for a little bit of an ad break. So mindsetters, as I say all the time, make sure you tell a friend, tell another friend to get on the page and chat to us. And again, mindsetters, I cannot stress how much this is for you. And on that note, as in Tracy, you actually had a good point there in terms of the whole fastest button wins. Yes, I'm looking for the best posts, guys. If you have images, ideas, quotes, anything that's great and could contribute to the lesson, make sure you post it because you could win these awesome prizes, this Casio calculator and this labeler. So make sure you get on the page. And I just send one quick thank you to Liberty again. But on that note, do not disappear. We'll see you after this break.